Ghoul Friend Hour. Welcome to the Ghoul Friend Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Ghoul Friend Hour. I am your host, your ghost host, Morgan Fezza, and today we have another exciting guest who I'm so happy joined us today because we're going to get into a lot of spooky topics and maybe a little bit of some extraterrestrial talk. I don't know, we'll see. But without further ado, let's welcome Nicole Chivattoni. I think I'm saying that right, so we'll check in with her.
Hey,
Hey, thanks for joining us.
thanks for having me on. I think you may be the first person that has ever gotten my name right on the first try.
Yes,
good
my
job.
last
I've
name
gotten
record stands.
Shivante, Rice-A-Roni, all kinds of things, but never right.
Yes, I'm so proud of that right now.
Major props.
Yes, so tell us about yourself.
So, I'm Nicole. I am with Full Moon Paranormal. We're an all-female paranormal group that's based in the Hudson Valley, New York. We put really, really big emphasis on historic preservation. So we do a lot of fundraising for historic locations in our area. Some little off the beaten track places that you may not know is even there unless you go for an investigation. Those are some of our favorites. I also co-host the Alienate UK podcast on YouTube with Andy Booth. So we get into all kinds of cryptid alien topics, pretty much everything there.
Yes, and I'm so excited about this. And when I saw that you were on that, I was really even more excited because I feel like we don't often enough on the Ghoul Friend Hour. We talk a lot of spooky stuff. We kind of, I feel like, have covered a lot of like different array of things, but we haven't really gotten into cryptid talk. So like I like can't wait to kind of like pick your brain about that. I just think it's going to be really fun to kind of dive into the cryptid sector of things. So, my first question to our guests is always the burning question: how did you get into this? I mean, what brought you here? So, give us your origin story per se.
Oh boy, it's not really all that exciting, actually. I have been interested in the paranormal for literally as long as I can remember. I grew up in a haunted house. My grandmother's house had a ghost of Charlie who choked on a chicken bone. That was the story. And you could hear him coughing and people saw him, but it was always just like a really normal thing.
Okay.
So, always into ghosts. When I was like 3 or 4, supposedly, no, this is what I'm told. I have no memory of this. I channeled my great grandmother.
Tell us about that.
So I was sitting there and I was like brushing my grandma's hair or something, and I started talking about how, oh, I remember doing this when you were little, and talking about how cremation doesn't hurt because you're not there anymore. This is what I'm told because I was too young to remember this.
That is so interesting because another topic that I'm really interested in is reincarnation. And I feel like it's another minimally talked about topic on our podcast that I also love to bring up any chance that I get. So, what are your thoughts on reincarnation after hearing that story?
big supporter of past lives
Okay.
and reincarnation. I think we've all, done this before and we'll do it again. Simply from like the scientific standpoint of energy can't be created or destroyed, so it has to go somewhere.
Yes. Only
So,
transferred.
yes. So I'm thinking like, all right, the same energy is getting recycled over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really cool that like you have that story that's been able to be passed down to you about you channeling your great grandmother. I mean, like I'm sure. So was it your grandmother? Was she like did she have a reaction or like a did she ever tell you like how she felt when that happened and like her initial
No, my mom told me about it,
Okay.
but I guess my grandmother was thinking about like cremation or whatever and was like worried about it. So it
Oh
was
my
weird that I
goodness.
said that, but also it's weird that a 3-year-old's talking about cremation at all.
Yeah. That's I mean, that's amazing. It's amazing proof though. I mean, as they say, out of the mouth of tots, like they say the darndest things. And as we kind of know in the paranormal spooky realm of things, kids tend to have very spooky experiences. And, I don't think we have a final who, what, why, when, where of why kids do these things or come out with these things. But, that general consensus that kids are more open and prone to being able to channel and see things that we cannot is just so interesting. And I love that you were able to kind of have that experience with that very specific validation. I think that's really cool.
But the funniest part of it is, I am not a psychic. I am not a medium. I am like the skeptic on our team of
Yeah.
three psychics.
Okay. Okay. Very neat. So you
So
don't think you
first and
have
last.
any abilities?
I think that everybody has abilities. It's whether or not you lean into them and kind of
Okay.
tap into them.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I feel very similarly.
The way like I
So
like to talk about it is I feel like everybody can draw. You can pick up a pencil and draw, but you may not draw well or it may not come naturally. I feel like you can take classes to learn to draw better, but some people are just very naturally gifted. So I feel like that's kind of the same with psychic abilities.
I actually really like that. I'm gonna have to use that from now on because it's actually a really, really good comparison. Um, so you said you grew up in a haunted house. So you said like, you had it was Charlie and you said this is a very like normal occurrence. So you were never scared of this. This was just kind of like he was just around and it wasn't like an odd thing, so there was never any fear behind it. Was that the only ghost, the only like first experience that you had? Was there other stories?
No, I think that was pretty much the only one there. But I've always been interested in the paranormal. Like I said, I was the weird kid reading like Hans Holzer and Linda Zimmerman, dragging my parents to like the New Age section to get whatever books that I could
I
get my
love
hands
that.
on, read everything, visit every like spooky, creepy place. I made my parents bring me on like pilgrimages almost to Salem every Halloween.
I love that.
Mhm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about your views on the paranormal. So since you're on an investigation team, I know you said you lean more towards the skeptic side.
Mhm.
So to have somebody who's more skeptic on the podcast right now, I'm also equally excited because I feel like we haven't had a ton of skeptics. So I kind of want to hear, what is your belief system? Like, where do you sit with the paranormal? Like, what do you think happens to us after we die? And just your general thoughts around what you like. Is there something that you believe in more so than this? Like, ghosts versus Bigfoot or aliens versus ghosts? Is there something that you lean a little bit heavier towards not being a skeptic with?
So, like when I say I'm a skeptic, I mean I approach things from a more skeptical standpoint. I,
Okay.
I definitely believe in the paranormal. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. I don't know what it is we're looking at. When like the REM pod goes off, when you're getting a voice on a digital recorder, I'm kind of torn because there's so many theories and doing the podcast, we get a lot of different people with a lot of different theories. So I feel like my mind changes pretty much daily on like, okay, this fits or this fits. But I think we can all agree on the fact that something is happening.
Yeah.
There's some kind of phenomena that is interacting with us in an intelligent way. Now, whether
Okay.
that is like a time slip kind of thing, alternate dimensions, and that wall between them being thin, or whether it's just our own minds tapping into the collective consciousness and projecting on the equipment, they're all really, really interesting theories that I love exploring.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. So, do you have, I feel like all of us in the spooky realm have a niche that we kind of lean towards. Like I, for a while there, really loved learning about like the real truth behind like demons and demonic possession, and because I feel like it's something that's talked about so much that I was like, all right, this is a wormhole that I need to go down and really learn the fact versus fiction. Watching movies and documentaries and interviews and quote unquote live footage from supposed exorcism. So like what would you consider your wormhole or your niche in the paranormal that really like every time you hear it your ears just kind of perk up?
Frequency.
Oh, okay.
Frequency is my jam.
Okay.
Because I'm a big music person. Like I have playlists for everything. Music can change your mood in an instant. So I think that translates really well to the paranormal because everything has a frequency. Everything is made up of, vibrations. So exploring kind of how different frequencies interact with equipment, with people, with, the spirits that we're investigating. The fact that infrasound can have a definite effect on people's psyches. Like if you go into a haunted house, some of them will play these sounds at such a low frequency that it makes you feel fear, makes you feel unease, makes you feel anxious to kind of up their like spook factor.
Yeah.
So I've played around with a little bit. I want to do it more, playing different frequencies when we go in for an investigation to see
Okay.
how that affects the activity.
That's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. So, besides, the frequency kind of theory, what it kind of leads me into when you're on an investigation, what do you feel like has been your favorite piece of equipment that you've used and have gotten the most like evidence that speaks to you and you're like, okay, I really believe that we got something here.
Hmm. That's a tough one because I like REM pods. I love the cat balls
Okay.
because it's so simple
Yeah.
that it's not like, okay, a REM pod can be set off by a walkie-talkie. It can be set off by a police station radio, if a police car is stationed outside.
Yeah.
But the cat balls and those really simple, like motion activated things, you have to move it for it to light up.
Yeah.
There's no faking it, kind of, unless you're, vibration. But even
Yeah.
then, we always try to debunk things. So we'll have like a cat ball out, it'll start going off. And then the next thing you see is us all walking around, jumping up and down, like seeing exactly what it would take to set it off.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how you said how long have you been has your investigation team been running now?
2021, right
Oh,
after
wow.
COVID. Yeah,
Okay.
first public investigation we did, everybody was still wearing masks.
Okay. Wow, that's a tough time to start that. But that's like I mean, it's proof that you guys are doing an awesome job because, still here, still going strong. So congrats on that. That's amazing. And so let's get into your experiences. I mean, what have give me some of your most profound experiences or experiences that you've had on investigations that have kind of been like, hey, that was something unexplainable. We haven't been able to debunk that, and it really kind of opened your eyes even more to being a believer.
So you want to hear a funny one?
Yeah.
The first investigation we did as a team was at the Chance Theater in Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
And it's like a theater that they have a lot of concerts, a lot of bands, a lot of shows. and it was closed all of COVID. When we went in there, it was basically like everything was just left. There was papers. It's just they didn't come back. And it reopened after, but this was right after COVID when people just started being allowed out. So I was new to the team. It was our first event. I did the history of the chants. So I was up on the stage and I was reading out from the little paper that I had the whole history. It was used as like a vaudeville theater. It was used in the war. They showed movies there, all kinds of things. And we have the Phasma box running while I'm doing that. And then I finish and the Phasma box goes, "Yay!"
Oh, that's great.
It was almost like they were so starved for like any kind of entertainment for the last like 2 years almost that they were like, I
Yeah.
don't know what this is, but
We like
yay.
it. I love that. That is so
Yeah,
cute.
it was really funny and everybody was like cracking up.
That's amazing. And it's always great, like, too, when you get the validation through timing. Like, because that I feel like the minute you finish for that to go off, you're like, I mean, it's gotta be something. And the choice of reaction, that's
Mhm.
just amazing. I love hearing stories like that.
It just caught me off guard because I'm like, they must think that this is some kind of weird ass show that we're like putting on here.
Like, we don't
But
know
it
what
was
this is, but,
yeah,
we're cheering for it.
yeah, something's back.
Yeah.
Because they're used to like crazy rock concerts there, and then somebody's just on the stage like reading a monologue of history.
They're like, "This is Shakespearean."
Sure.
Um, so yeah, so give me keep going, spitfire, give me some more.
All right. Oh, you want to hear a cool one that happened not that long ago, a couple weeks ago actually. We
Yeah.
were at Mizzier Homestead. This is in Wappingers. It's one of our favorite places to go. We always get like crazy activity. The caretaker, she called us in because she actually heard a voice asking, "Bring Tim and his dolls." So
Oh,
Tim Dalton, Dr. DR60, we work with him a lot. He's been there with us before. And he has one of those like Love Bella dolls.
okay.
You've seen those?
Yeah.
So they are supposed to be like a conduit for spirit energy. We set a date, we go back in with him, and we're in this back part of the house that was built in like 1740s. It's
Wow.
not really restored at all. It's really cool. But we were doing an Esta session and it keeps saying inside, bring the doll inside, bring it inside. And like, we are inside. The only place we could think of was to go into that back bedroom because that has a door. It's like, all right, so we'll try in there. And my team member Stephanie was under the Estes and we were going back and forth. It was just me and her in there and I was asking questions. And I see with my eyes something that starts like this much taller than her. It's completely covering her. It looked like the nun from the Conjuring movies.
Oh, how'd that make you feel?
So, being, the logical one, I'm looking at my body cam because it's the infrared. I can see Stephanie looks perfectly normal. So, I like, okay, let my eyes adjust because it must be playing tricks on me in the dark. So, I'm focused on it. And instead of, her becoming more clear, the nun became more clear.
I would be like, guys.
Yeah. So I dropped a couple F bombs and left the room. And I was like, somebody needs to get her out of there
Oh my gosh.
because I left her. Like, not very
Dude,
good
there's
team
a lot
member.
of things. I've seen a lot of spooky things, especially as a sensitive, and like that's one character creature feature that just no matter what it is, like I don't care where I saw it, it could be broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
The nun freaks me out and I don't know why. Like the nun and the things from Insidious. Those are like two
Mm-hmm.
things that I'm like, I don't like it. I don't know. It just gives me the heebies.
Yeah. Nope, not cool. Was not a fan. And I'm not a sense. I don't normally see things like that. So if I see something and I run out of the room, everybody better run out of the room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So did you guys ever did you ever make a connection or like validate what that was?
So we think it was some spirit messing with us a little bit because earlier in the night, some of our mediums were getting an image of a girl who looked like the girl from The Orphan, that
Oh.
movie with like the
Yeah.
braids, who was pretending to be a child but wasn't.
Yeah.
And then
Ooh, I
another
don't
one
like
saw
that.
that same thing but with like the black eyes, like black-eyed children. So it was almost like whatever was there was kind of playing into the Hollywood horror tropes to freak us out.
Oh. See, I don't like, I always have a rule, especially like with my sensitive gifts. I'm like, I don't like things that shapeshift or like aren't truthful about like who they are. Because there's been a couple of times where we've been on investigations, and particularly when I was at Samuel Miller Mansion in Columbia, PA, and there was this thing that at first, like what was really scary about it is when I initially went to, they have the area roped off, but it's part of like an old mill, and it basically just goes into a black void. And so when they were giving us the walkthrough of the location, I had walked up, and this thing didn't come out of the door. Like it legitimately came, it was on the ceiling, and it comes out of the ceiling towards me. And like nobody, I could tell it was a me thing because nobody else was reacting to it except for the other sensitive. And we both kind of like did one of these, and we just kind of stepped back because we watched it just come up on the ceiling, and it like changed its form and like wouldn't show me like true form. And I was like, I don't like things that like mask, because I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't like, a lot of the times with like spirits and stuff, I feel like you can kind of, as a sensitive, like you can kind of break through what they show you and see what's there. And it brings me a little bit more comfort. But when there's something that's able to kind of shapeshift and mask really well, I'm like, we're not communicating with you because I don't know what you are. And that's like really sketchy. So that
Yeah.
like would freak me out. Especially I don't do dark eyes. Like the black eye thing, I don't do that. So that is like, it gave me chills when you said that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was because if you have to conceal what you are, then what you are is obviously not something good.
Yes, and the motive there is, yeah, not well.
Deception, it's to scare you.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, ooh. So like, what do you think that was? Like, do you think,
See, I don't know. We think kind of it was like a trickster spirit. It was something that was trying to kind of pretend to be a child, draw you in. Like, oh, let's play with the dolls. You want Tim and the dolls? Let's play. And we don't really know why,
yeah,
because we've been to that place numerous times and we've never encountered anything like that. So we don't know if it was something that was just trying to get us to come out
yeah.
and to bring him out for some reason.
Hmm. I always wonder too, like, is there a lot of visitors to that location?
There's some because it's a museum and it is open, but it's not like super popular where people are coming through constantly, and
Okay,
not
because that was
paranormal
gonna be my
at all.
question. Is it like sometimes I've noticed, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, but there's been a couple of locations I've been to where they have had like they've become a little bit more popular, and I feel like when you get more foot traffic, you have a lot of more people like dabbling and kind of
Yes.
messing around with stuff, and like that always irks me too because I feel like you'll go to a location and you'll be like, okay, you get used to it. You're like, I like this. It's got a lot of good stuff and like you get a lot of good evidence. But then when people are coming in and they're just kind of like fucking off and just doing whatever, you get something new that's a little bit more malevolent and you're like, this was not here before. And like, you know exactly what brought it there. And you're just like, like, it puts such a damper on locations sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, and that brings it back to like the whole tulpa thing too. If you go into a place and you're expecting to find something dark and you're calling dark things in,
Mhm.
then that's what kind of responses you're going to get.
Yes.
done
Yeah.
experiments like that where they told somebody a story about a location, they go in and they're getting the story fed right back to them on the equipment,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
it wasn't true.
You know, it's funny. So I'll tell you a quick story, and this has always stayed with me. So one of my high school friends, his mom and his grandmother were both, I think, I can't remember what, like, there was a name for it in his culture. But basically, like, kind of like medicine women, but also very spiritually inclined. And his grandmother believed, oh, Sabrina said hi. Hi, Sabrina. Um, so she believed, like, instead of carrying bad energy around the house, they had something they called like a fight room. So like when her and her husband would fight, or like if she was like kind of like beefing with somebody, they went in the room, they got it out, talked it out, fought it out, whatever, and like got the negative energy out in there, and then continued on their way or whatever. Because she was like, it's better to allocate it to one place and then you just like whatever. So he was telling me the story that like as she got older, I mean, she's lived in the home for like 60, 70 years. And they, you know, over the time of their marriage, you're going to have marital qualms and like, you know, you're going to have these little like quarrels. So, they, every time they had a fight, like, they just kind of stored it in there essentially. And that bad energy ended up cooking up like a pretty nasty, like little poltergeist.
Wow.
And she didn't even think like that would be a thing. And so he was like telling me the story. He's like, I'm very big on, you know, like keeping your space clean. And he's like, because it was when he was older, he was like, you know, my grandmother didn't know what was happening, but like the door was flying open, stuff was flying off the shelves. And it was just really like, and of course, like in their culture, like she was like, oh, this is like a duende or like a, you know, like some sort of demon. And she was all freaked out. And he was like looking at, he's like, well, what is anything happening in this? He's like, it's just this room. And it was really odd. And so when she kind of told him a little bit about like what, he's like, well, obviously, grandma, he's like, you're putting bad energy into one room and then closing the door at the end of the day. What do you think's gonna happen? He's like, you know, you got all this bad energy in this closet. Like, so I think it, like, for me had always stayed in the back of my mind of why, like, you like you said, you can't destroy, you know, that energy, and it has to go somewhere. So like if it just kind of pens up, it very well, that negative intent, that manifestation can turn into something very physical, I guess we'll say. So yeah, so I was like, I had to share that because like while we're on it, like I'm totally in line with you. Like tulpas are very, very real things. I think there's a lot of modern like Hollywood culture. I'm trying to figure out how to say this.
Like Slender
um
Man?
Yes, like things like that. And like certain haunted objects, I will call them per se, in mainstream media that get a lot of attention. And I feel like a lot of people like are just, they go into it with that mindset of like this thing is evil, it's negative. And when you have like, I'm talking like a lot of people with that same mindset, and you're just, it's just like you're just juicing up a battery, like you're just throwing negative, 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 and it's like, well, nothing good is going to come out of that.
No. So we always try to go into places and we always try to connect with like the spirits of the home. Like a lot of people have negative experiences at Hinsdale. Not like bad experiences, but with not so friendly spirits.
Yeah.
And when we went in there, it was myself and a couple of my friends from Parasite, and we just treated it like a home. We had pizza, we hung out, we played music, and we got a majority of the experiences we had were so positive and
Yeah.
friendly. And they actually told us more pizza, less darkness.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
You guys need to put that on a t-shirt.
we
That's
want to,
such a
yeah.
great spiritual interaction. I love that.
So that's kind of been my mindset. I'm like, no, we're gonna go in and we're gonna just talk to the friendly spirits.
Yeah,
And if somebody wants to be a cranky old man, because there's always a cranky old man in all the haunted houses, apparently.
always. Always.
You know, he can be cranky, but he's not evil. He's not a demon. He's just a dude. So,
Yeah. And I'm like, if like I try and stress to people too, like people think that like when you become a ghost, like the human experience just stops. And it's like to an extent, yes, maybe a little bit, but ghosts are basically just parallel humans.
yeah,
Like, so treat them as such. Like, you wouldn't just like step into someone's house and start knocking shit over and like yelling stuff and being like, answer my questions. Like, if you stormed in my house at 10 o'clock at night and started asking for my date of birth and how I died and you didn't get to know me, I would be like, get out. Like, what do you,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, like, I think you're totally right. Like going into it positive and connection is so important. Like connecting with spirits. Like I said, like you wouldn't just walk into somebody's house and expect them to be your best friend. So like walking in, introducing yourself, knowing a little bit about your, your location and your surroundings and just like being able to be like, hey, like I'm here to hear, like I want you to tell me your story and I want to connect with you. And so I feel like the warmer, more positive approach always tends to give you so much better results and you get some really cool stories out of it.
yeah. No, 100%. When we do our public events, we start off by telling people, don't go in there. The same thing as you just said. You don't go into somebody's house and start like, what's your name? What's your birthday? How did you die? How many kids did you have? You're like conversational with EVPs.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, my name's Nicole. I like chocolate cake. What's your favorite food?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
tell them something about yourself. You know, try to make a connection. Do your research beforehand so you know a little bit of something about the time period they lived in. Because if you're telling them, hey, go touch that REM pod, they're not going to know what that is.
Like, I'm sorry, what?
Like, what's a REM pod?
Yeah.
And also, if they were from, you know, the 17 or 1800s, and you come in with all this stuff that plays music and lights up and flashes in their face, we've been called witches so many times.
I would laugh so hard because that's where my mind went to. I'm like, immediately, like, they probably see the REM pod and they're like, witch.
Witchcraft. Yep.
They're like, wait a minute, is that a woman reading from a book? Like, what is
Mhm.
this?
Oh my God, yeah. And that's another thing. Like, as an all female team, we get some really interesting interactions that we don't get when we investigate with some of our male investigator friends. A
Yes.
lot of female spirits coming through, a lot of children, because what do they tell you, you know, if you lose your kid, you tell them to go find a mom with kids because she doesn't want any more. She's not going to steal you. So
I love
they,
that.
yeah, it's safe to come talk to us. We're very non-threatening usually.
Yeah, I think that like every person too, at least with my like more spiritual gifts from that approach, like I look at every human being, like I do feel like kind of going around to the aura thing, we are very much a beacon. Like and people don't realize that like what we put out is like basically just a very large attractive magnet and your light, your color, your like, if I have a really pretty, like happy, positive aura, that's going to bring in, that kind of energy. And it's going to like, you're going to get lots of different, like you said, kids, it's that warm, like, I want to talk to that person. I want to gravitate towards them. But like you said, if you have like, big flashing red light that's like negative, like they're gonna see that too and be like, hey, the not so great things. And we don't jump to the D word, but there are
Yeah.
just really there's some grumpy, like we said, grumpy, nasty spirits in the afterlife who are just bah humbug, and they're gonna be like, oh, that's my girl right there. I'm going. But one thing I was gonna say to you too is like I don't know if you have run into this like as an all female team, but especially going back to the witchcraft, women, I feel like we get so berated via spirit box
Oh
by
yeah.
the male spirits. Like I've made a couple of really funny TikToks about it because it cracks me up. Like how many times we've been on an investigation and I've been either called like the B word or like one time I got called a wench and I was like,
Ooh.
that was a really specific
Yeah, I
like
like that one.
So I was like, okay. I was like, I should start keeping a log of things that I've
Mhm.
been called by men from the 1700s. Like,
We were at the Charlotte's Tea Room in Warwick doing an investigation public event a couple weeks ago for Valentine's Day. So much fun. But then when we went into the basement, it was completely different vibes. My team member, she actually got very uncomfortable down there. Felt like he wanted her out. There was a man in there and he wanted her out. She
ooh,
felt like he kept someone kind of locked down there at one point, a woman. So there was like a barrier from one side of
oh,
the basement to the other. So of course I crossed it
okay.
and we put all of our equipment over there and we had one of the dead bells. And I said, "All right, I'm going to give you a safe word. If you do not want me over here, ring it and I will respect it. I will leave." But while I was on that side, all kinds of stuff was lighting up. The words that were coming out through our apps, they were calling us I don't know how family friendly your show
Oh,
is.
you could say it.
We got called a whore many times, a bitch. He said we were saying something, and he goes, "I'm a breast man." Yeah, that's
Sir,
that's the first
sir,
time I think I heard that from
that
like
is
a ghost.
wild. But
And I'm like,
honestly,
"Well,
it's like
you're
we're
shit out of luck here, buddy."
that's fantastic. Like I feel like stuff like that would send me into a riot. Like I would be like, "Oh my God," like they would probably keel over and have a heart attack in 2026. Like
Right?
because like if you said that to a female nowadays, you'd probably catch a sparring kick right to the
Yep.
chest.
My God, but it was so funny, and like it didn't bother me because again, I don't claim, to be sensitive. So I'm just on that side and she's getting through, psychic impressions. He's asking if you can feel that. I'm like, "Yep, I can feel that.
Oh my God.
Yep, hand right here."
I cannot.
Like, "Nope, no
But see,
thanks."
it comes back to like they're not much different on the
Mm-hmm.
other side than they were in life. And sometimes I'm like, I wish you were a little different in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Like I wish you would do better. Like do better.
But would we recognize them if they were different?
No.
So you
Probably.
wouldn't know who they were to tell their story.
That's true. That's true. But it's just like sometimes I'm so sick
Yeah.
of these like 1700 like old grumpy men spirits that are like I'm like, I've had enough of you. Get out of the spirit box. Like, I'm done talking to
Right.
you. Especially like, and I'm sure like the sensitives on your team can relate because it's just like there is some times where I'm like, your energy is overwhelming. And I'm like, listen, because sometimes they're just like in your ear. Like, I've had some really grumpy old men and they just like, it's just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, I wish I had the click remote because I would mute you. Like I'm like I would literally mute your ass so fast because you're annoying me.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah.
get told a lot of times that we're improper for wearing pants.
Oh my
We
gosh. I
did,
totally forgot about clothing.
yeah, we did a Victorian themed Christmas party event, and we were wearing like Victorian dresses, and we had to go upstairs up like these steep attic stairs to set up equipment. So of course, what do? We hike up our skirts and walk up the stairs.
Oh my god, you showed ankle? How
We
dare
showed,
you?
I think we showed knee. I think we were quite hiked,
What hoochie mamas. I can't even
right?
believe you showed your kneecaps.
We just got like, "This is improper. This is improper. Ladies do not
That
do this."
I just like this is times where I would literally wish I could just be on the other side very clearly so I could just like I just want to observe. I just want to be a
Mhm.
fly on the wall because I want to see like them lose their mind when we show an elbow or like
Right? Or when
like
like a curse word comes out of our mouth, or
yeah, they're like did that woman just say shit? Like
yeah. And I
it's
mean,
like
I don't know
instant
how you
coronary.
are, but we're all close and we investigate and we spend a lot of time together. So there is some locker room talk that happens,
Oh,
when there's nothing going
100%.
on.
A
I can
hundred
only
percent.
imagine the heart attack they're having over there listening to that.
I that like that would honestly be like a bucket list item for me. Like if I could just be a fly on the wall in the afterlife for when like they watch like modern day, like watch us pull a cell phone out of our pocket and they're
Yeah.
like, "What is that?" Like And like, you know, like I even see the memes. So I'm gonna kind of like gear us over to the alien talk by saying this. But you see the alien memes where it's like that, like, oh yeah, that was Creed, and it's like me telling my alien that's crying. Like it's like, you know, like I'm like, I would love to experience some sort of like bring a cryptid to school day, like, or bring a cryptid
Yes.
to my job day so that they could be like, what is a laptop? And you're just like, oh, it's
Mhm.
this really cool little piece of metal where we like slave our lives away and we work for
Yeah.
like money.
Or
They're like, that's a
even,
wild concept.
yeah, or even like human behavior to them. It's like, that human is putting their mouth hole on that human's mouth hole.
Like, what's
Like, why?
happening?
It's because they love each other.
I'm like, don't even get us started on how babies are made. Don't ask us
No.
that question. You need to be on Earth for at least 3 years before we
Right.
have that conversation.
I don't know.
Oh
With
my
all
god.
the abductions, I think they're aware of that part.
Probably. If the butt things are true, I feel like they're probably eons ahead of us.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like,
I don't know. We've heard some
I would
crazy abduction stories.
tell
Like,
me.
crazy, crazy. So it was pretty early on when I was co-hosting Alienate, and we had a guy on who said that he was part of a government program. He got abducted and he lived like 20 years in this secret Space Force mission thing where he was fighting praying mantis aliens and they were like regenerating limbs. And I was fully convinced that I was going to break down his story. I mean, not in a mean way, just like, all right, let's get to the bottom of what's actually, going on.
Yeah.
But hearing him tell that story, his details didn't change. He would tell you if he didn't know something, he's like, I don't know. I didn't have like access to that information or I didn't see that part of whatever. And he was so convinced or convincing that it kind of changed the way that I look at all of the paranormal, like the
That's
debunking
really
things. I'm like,
interesting.
this, whether or not it actually physically happened, this was his experience. He
Yeah.
believes that he experienced this.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it brings us to the whole reality is subjective topic.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. So, as a sensitive, I'm sure you see things that don't other people don't see,
Yes.
right?
It's
That
been very
doesn't mean
fun.
that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that you
Yeah.
didn't actually experience it just because nobody else saw it.
Yeah.
So,
And that's been like a lifelong struggle. It's definitely weird because, and even like to this day, like sometimes like I sit there and I'm like, has this really been my life for 30, almost 32 years? Like I'm like, it's just like a normal, and it's funny because like things will happen around our house and I'm not really phased by it because this has been my life for as long as I can remember. But it's like my poor husband, like, he'll be like, "I thought I saw something last night." And I'm like, "You did." I'm like, "The best thing to do is just roll over and go back to sleep." I'm like, because a lot of the times, like, he'll catch like a glimmer of something and he's like, "Morgan, what the fuck was that?" And I'm like, it's literally a passer through, like, just don't pay it any mind. And like, it doesn't, like, I'm not phased by it. He's like, I don't understand. He's like, how do you not like, how does this not scare you? And I'm like, there are things that spook me. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, but in a way, I kind of envy people that like don't have the same reality that I do. Like, I'm like, I wish sometimes that like I didn't see these things because I feel so loony when like I'll be, thank God I have a great friend group now who they're very much into the spooky stuff, but it's like when I couldn't talk about it for such a long time and I masked so hard because it was like, how do I tell my friends that like I'm pretty sure that's their grandpa hanging around, and like how do I bring that up to them without them being like you're an a-hole, like why are you telling me this? Because like it's, I don't know, like it's such a weird thing to me, and that's why like I want to know more about like planes of existence, and like because I feel like that ties into extraterrestrial stuff too. Like you know, I think there, like, from all the people I've had on this podcast, I've had dream analysts, I've had people who, I'm trying to think, why am I blanking on name? I'm totally blanking right now, but I just had her on not too long ago, and she basically was talking about her experience with God and how there's all these different planes of existence, and she has been to multiple different planes, and there's extraterrestrials, and then there's like cryptid-like creatures, and there's spirits, and it's just like levels on levels of different things, and I'm like, what? Like, I would love to define what a sensitive is, and kind of getting into that, like, that subjective, you know, I want to know so badly, like, what these planes of existence are and what plane can we see? Because, like, if we really only kind of tap in, because, like, I've never, and I'm going to knock on wood because I don't know that I want to, but I've never connected with like an alien or a cryptid, and I've never seen one or experienced one. But like ghosts seem to be the only thing that, like, or what appear to be ghosts, because we like, how do we even know a ghost is like that's what it is? Like, you know, so it's like that seems to be the only thing that I'm in tune with and I can see. So it's like, why is it that we only see this one plane of existence, but we don't see these other things if we have an insight into this? So that kind of makes sense.
Totally. I think, see, my theory would be that it all comes down to like frequency again and the vibrations. Because the ghosts supposedly, you know, were human. So you think they'd be kind of close still, right? In
Yeah,
theory. Like still kind of similar. We aliens, I don't know what they're vibrating at. But
true. That,
and
I mean, that does make
cryptids,
sense.
yeah, and cryptids seem to like pop in and out. Where
That's what perplexes
ghosts,
me.
yeah, ghosts seem to be more like ever present kind of, or you can call them up.
Lingerers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good point, because I do feel like when you, I always think it's funny because, like, you ever see like Bigfoot photos? I'm like, we have all this technology. Like, we literally put a man on the
Not a clear
moon.
photo.
And I'm like, it's always like it's always like CCTV footage. Like, it's like, and what cracks me up is like he's always in motion. Like, it's never
Mhm.
like you never catch Bigfoot with his back turned, like, and just kind of doing something. Like, he's always on the move. And I'm
He's never
like,
like peeing on a tree. He's always like
no.
running.
I'm like, you can catch like a bear shitting in the woods, or you can catch
Mhm.
like, you know, a mountain lion sitting atop a rock. But like, it looks like Bigfoot. Like, I'm like, what is, I have questions about Bigfoot, okay? Like, where is he going all the time? And like, why is he so busy? Because like, if I lived in the woods and I was just kind of hanging out, like naked, just living my best life, I don't think I would be like running from point A to point B all the time. And I'm like, this dude must be just like plane hopping,
Mhm.
like, just he has to be. That's the only thing
Yeah.
I can
And
justify is
and
like
he's also hopping around on one foot because they never find multiple Bigfoot prints. It's only one.
it's
Why is it
they have
one?
like one piece of mud that's like this
Yeah.
big.
Why is it one? If he's walking, if he's running like you see in the videos, there should be multiple.
There should be tracks. Like,
Yeah,
they're honestly, there should even be like burnt ground with how fast he's moving.
I know.
That's wild to me. And like, I was talking, I had like asked somebody on our podcast once about Dogman. Like, that's been something that has really perplexed me, because I didn't know Dogman was a thing until I found out about it. And then like, I was like, well, now I have all these questions about Dogman. I'm like, is it like, are werewolves real? Like, is that what it is? And like, yeah, I don't know, because like, I didn't know that it was such a legit thing. And when I kind of went on Facebook and was like researching stuff, and then I was going on like Google, and I was checking everything, and Facebook had a legit, like, it was a first responders like frontline group for Dogman experiences. So it was like police officers, firefighters, like
Oh.
people who are generally very, like, my husband's law enforcement, and he's very like, I'm going to try and debunk this before I go to supernatural, but he's very like realistic and very like clear-minded on a lot of stuff. So like, when you hear like nurses and like there were like doctors in this group and they were like, hey, I was on this camping trip in Alaska and we experienced what we think was Dogman, and I was like, what? Like, that's wild.
Yeah, and first responders, military members, they're trained to notice details. Like they're
Yeah.
trained so that they can give a description of a subject or a suspect or anybody. So you think that they're paying pretty close attention when they see something weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just like a kooky person in the woods who's high on ayahuasca or something.
Literally. Yeah, like it's so crazy because I love hearing stories from people that are very like they're just very level-minded and they are just like, "Hey, this it is what it is. Like you can believe me or not believe me. Like there's really nothing that I'm gaining from this." And I'm like, I mean, truthfully, I'm like, yeah, like either people are going to call him crazy and they're going to be like, "Oh, like write this person off," or they're going to be like, "Hey, that's pretty legit." But either way, like it's not like they're getting like a book deal or like a movie,
No.
they're just like, "Hey, this is my story." So I'm like, "Really, why would they what is there to lie about?"
Yeah,
Like
there's no reason to. You're not gaining anything from it.
exactly. So it's like you hear these stories and it's just like that's pretty crazy because there's been a couple of like abduction things that I've watched, and I'm not gonna lie, some of the I think the two that like freak me out the most are the Dogman stories and like alien abduction stories because like there was this one lady that was talking about how like she went missing like 3 times in the middle of the night and would wake up and like a week had passed and, like,
Oh.
they were just like, "Where did you" like, her family was like, "Where have you been?" She's like, "I literally went to bed last night, and then I just woke up." And they're like, "You've been gone for a week. Like, how did you get back here? Like, where were you?" And, like, they're like, "I physically have no recollection of a week gone by." Like, and they have, like, bruises and weird, like, markings, and they're just like and then they have these, like, weird, like, the lady that was talking about, she said, like, she would have these weird, like, almost, like, pitches or, like, there were, like, migraines, but they were, like, accompanied with, like, tones.
Hmm.
And I was like, I just there's and she was very level-headed, like, she was just like, "I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with me," and, like, there was another guy that, like, had, like, an experience where he had, like, cancer, and, like, he was pretty terminal, and he was gone for, like again, like, missing for an amount of time, came back, went to go to, like, his, like, checkup appointment to see, like, how the chemo and stuff was working, and they were like it was completely eradicated, like, there was no sign of cancer, and they were like, "This is one of those things that, like, this is a cancer that, like, you're gonna eventually pass away from, like, but, like, the chemo and stuff was gonna kind of, like, just help you maintain," and they were like, "Nothing like, the chemo wouldn't have erased this," and they were like, "It must like, we have no idea," and he was like, I swear on everything that is holy, I disappeared for this amount of time, and I came back and I'm healed." He's like, "It's the craziest thing," and so, like, what other stories have you heard? Like, I'm curious, like, have you heard crazy stuff like that?
Oh yeah, lots of crazy stuff. But the aliens abduction thing freaks me out too because there's literally nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
If they want you, they're going to take you. You can't protect yourself. When you go out on an investigation, you can set your intentions. You can do, whatever ritual things that you do, prayer, rosary, holy water, sigils, whatever, saging. But from an alien, you can't do any of that. If they
Yeah.
want you, they're just going to take you. So that's kind of terrifying if you think about it.
That is terrifying.
And I've heard of people who they've been abducted. Their family members have been abducted. Their children have been abducted, and you can't do anything about it.
That freaks me out more than anything, the kid
Mm-hmm.
thing, because, like, as a mother, like, that's like your job, like, is to protect and advocate and, like, always, like, make sure that your child is healthy, happy, and cared for, and, like, I don't know what I would do. Like,
Yeah.
because like there really is nothing you can do, and like I can't like I don't think I could fight an alien. I'm not going to talk
No.
about it because I don't want to challenge it. I'm like I don't even want to put that out there because I'm like, let's just not even be in a position where we have to
Right.
fight. Like,
But I don't think you can. I've heard stories where they have watched their children be, carried off by these little beings and they're paralyzed. They can't do anything. And that must be the most awful feeling in the world.
that's so scary.
And
Oh
then
my God.
you wake up and your kid's there and it's like nothing happened, but you know that you weren't dreaming.
And see, that would get me too because I don't like feeling crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like being like, no, I know for sure, like, that was not a dream. And it's like, I always felt really bad because you know how like the government now is like, oh yeah, like aliens, just an
Yes.
FYI, guys, aliens are real.
And
And
nobody
like,
cares.
I'm like, you guys gave like Art Bell, like people that would call into like Art Bell show, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like they would give him such a hard time. They're like, "Oh, this person's freaking nuts," like and would say so much stuff, and then it's like they're like, "Aliens aren't real. There's no way," and then the government's like, "Actually, about that."
We kind of lied.
And I'm like, these poor people, they must have went through something so traumatic. Like that must have been so terrifying. And it's like
Yeah.
you can't even tell you're safe people because they're gonna be like, what the F? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
so
The craziest
terrible.
thing to me about disclosure is that nobody batted an eyelash. Nobody cared. They're like, all right, cool. Like the state of the world right now, to where
We're so
they
bad.
announced aliens are real, and everybody's like,
Because things were so much worse everywhere else. We're just like, honestly, like, pick me up.
right?
You're just like, let me hitch a ride because Earth right now is just unbearable. I can't deal with it here.
But yeah, I don't know. The amount of everything. That's my other favorite subject is conspiracies. Not like the
Yes.
crazy, crazy ones,
But the
but
ones
like
that
the
make
ones,
sense.
yeah, the ones that eventually come out and are true. Like you said before,
What's your favorite conspiracy right now?
right now, I don't know, you said before, you're like, oh, we put a man on the moon. I'm like, but did we?
I was literally gonna say that, and I was like, I don't want to
Crazy.
sound crazy, but I was like, yeah, because every time we were watching, was it Mad Men? I think it was Mad Men, and like, you know how like, have you ever watched it?
I've seen clips.
Well, like, they basically like started. I think it's like 1950 something, and then
Mhm.
they show you like the time progression and like their lives like basically through until like the 70s, I believe it is. So all of the things that happened like Kennedy and when we put a man on the moon, and you kind of get to experience it from that time period. And so I was like watching that episode and I'm sitting here as somebody in 2026 and I'm just like, oh, like little do they know. They literally could have put anything on that TV and people would
Yeah.
have ate it up. Like, because if you think about it, they really didn't have anything else crazy going on. So to broadcast this to a TV and just be like, oh, there's a man on the moon, like everybody's like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Like, but there really wasn't, when you look at the conspiracy into that,
Yeah.
without
I
getting too
saw a
deep and get my channel hijacked, but
no,
like,
no. I did see a reel the other day that was like, how come I can't get signal on my cell phone with 5G towers, but they could call the moon from a landline?
seriously, word. Mic
Yep.
drop right there.
And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
I think the biggest rabbit hole, and I like, let me know if you've gone down this one, is Britney Spears.
Yes. Oh my God.
Were
Oh my
you,
God,
okay, tell
Brittany.
me, were you a Britney girl, like growing
I
up?
was a Britney girl.
Okay, so we can safely agree because I was a Britney girl. There's no way that's Britney Spears.
That's not my Britney.
I'm
So
like, that
I
is
don't know who
not who
that
we
is.
grew up with. And I feel like it looks like the soul has been sucked out of her. Like, I'm like, when you look at her eyes, there's
Mhm.
nothing.
You know why? Because it's a filter. Have you seen all the videos where her filter falls off?
Yes.
And it's like a dude?
I hate it. Like,
Yeah. It's so creepy. Like, where is she?
that's what I want to know. And now people are talking about Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
That's
Yep. And
another one
Justin
now.
Bieber.
It like, and what's crazy is like everybody will be like, when something like the Justin Bieber thing happens on TikTok, they'll pull it down, but there's always at least 5 to 10 people that caught it, and the internet
Yep.
is forever. I don't
Yes,
even
it
care
is.
if you're the government. The internet is forever.
Mhm.
So like you can try to scramble, but like I think we're a little bit more in 2026, I do feel like we've become a little bit more united and a little bit more open-minded, especially because of TikTok, that I feel like when we see something like that or we hear somebody telling that story, we're like, I believe you, bro. Like I
Yeah,
100%. So
100%.
yeah.
Because even if you look at all this stuff without obviously getting into it, like the stuff that's coming out that everybody was like, that's a thing, that's happening. And now things are coming out and it's like, yep, they're happening.
It's like we don't trust you anymore because you
Yeah.
told us for years aliens weren't real, and then you just
Yeah.
nonchalantly just did like a little drive by. You guys were like, "Yeah, by the way, like, you know,
Aliens are
aliens are
real. Prince
real."
Andrew's getting arrested. Bye.
I can't. I literally can't. So it's like we're all like, What? You tell us this isn't real. I don't believe you anymore because
Nope.
5 years down the road, when you're trying to distract us over here, you're gonna throw this out to us as a bone, and we're
Yep.
gonna be like unfazed because we already knew this."
Yes, we did.
So I
Yeah.
love that. Conspiracy theories are fun. Even some of the crazier ones are just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Even if you don't really like, it's not your cup of tea. There's just you can really get down like a crazy
Oh yeah.
wormhole.
Yeah, we go down a lot on the show Hollow Earth because Andy, like the host, is really into the Hollow Earth theory,
I don't
and
think
I
I've
just
heard
find
that
it
one.
hilarious. I'm like, Admiral Byrd went to North Pole, South Pole, one of the poles, and supposedly went into a hole that led to inner Earth. And that's where Bigfoot and that's where the dinosaurs live. And it's this vast, lush green inner Earth.
Oh my god, don't tell me that because dinosaurs kind of scare me.
Why do dinosaurs scare you?
I don't know. I don't like the thought of there being like giant ass crocodiles and like giant like I know that I will never first off, I will never travel to North or South Pole, so I don't have to worry about falling in this hole. But like, what if the earth opens up like one of these New Jersey potholes that just like I don't want to fall in that and like I wouldn't survive with the dinosaurs. I probably would not survive like an hour in any kind of apocalyptic condition. Like just kill me.
I think there's like a whole movie series about that, how they like went into inner Earth and there was dinosaurs there. And they were like
Oh,
riding
is
them
it that
around.
kids movie?
Yeah.
Journey to the
Yes.
center of the earth?
Yeah.
I think I saw the first one of that. I think there's like a second one, but yeah, it was actually a pretty good movie.
So it'd be like that. You don't have to be scared of them. But I think like maybe every once in a while, like a pterodactyl flies out or something, and that's why people
See
see
that
them
I would
flying
die of
around.
a heart attack, straight coronary. Like I would not survive that because if I saw a pterodactyl, I'm scared of hippos. So like I
Well,
hate
hippos are
hippos.
violent.
See, you're the first person to admit this. Say that again, please, for my listeners.
Hippos are violent as hell. They kill more people than alligators do and sharks do.
Thank you. Thank you. See, this is why Nicole is the best because every time I say that I don't like hippos and I have a legitimate, I mean, maybe a little irrational because I like do not live anywhere near where hippos are, but like I literally they make me so scared and sick to my stomach because the thought of like getting eaten by a hippo makes me want to keel over and
Ooh,
die. I'm
no,
so scared of them. And people are like, "What are you scared of? They're so cute." And I'm like, "Yeah, Mudang is maybe,
Moo, yes. Baby
but
Fiona
Mudang,
and Mujang. Those
yeah."
are the hippos that we stand with.
But have
That's
you
so cool.
seen like when their zookeepers go into their enclosure, they're like little angry bullets.
Yeah.
Like they want to just attack your ankles for no reason other than just because. And I'm like, well, those little cutie hippos grow into very big hippos that will eat you for no reason.
Well, they're pygmy hippos, so they don't grow that big. They
It's
probably
still
couldn't eat you. They could maybe take like an arm off
that's
at
still too
most.
much for me. That's still too much for me. I don't like hippos. I hate them so much. I love all of Earth's creatures, but I just don't understand the need for hippos. I don't really know what they contribute to our ecosystem. So I'm like, they're just one of the things that I'm like, why? Thank you, Serena. She said hippos are not cute. And I just sent a picture to my aunt because I took my daughter to Target. The new for real friend is a hippo.
Have you ever seen a hippo like crunch a watermelon?
That's why it scares me because that's the same size as it's around the same size as like my face. So
Mm-hmm.
like I
It
just
just
picture that being like my head.
no,
Let me tell you
it's
something.
like it's nothing. It's like butter.
Have you ever heard of Paul Templar?
No.
Look it up. You want to
Okay.
talk about a really good there I don't know what podcast it is. He is a really good, I'll find it and send it to you. I think I've brought this poor man up on my podcast like 78 times at this point. He has a crazy story. He literally got eaten alive by a hippo and survived to tell the tale. So
Oh
you
my God.
have to hear that story. He is first off, he's just an amazing human being. Crazy story and crazy survival skills from his, I think it was the Zambezi, like they're like a river tour team. They're
Mhm.
trained medically like very well and they MacGyvered the shit out of his body. So you have to hear it.
Oh boy. All right. No, I'm
It's
gonna look this up. Have you had him? Have you gotten in contact with him? Have you had him on
I
the
have
show?
tried because I'm like, even if it's not spooky related, it's an I survived story. And in my book, it's a true crime story because that hippo attempted murder. Okay.
All right,
So
this is going to be a mission now.
I have to
I
get
am
Paul
going to
Templar on here.
somehow get you in touch with Paul Templar.
That would he's like an idol for me. Like I would love to just like talk to him and be like, can you please convince my listeners that hippos are not cute? Like not that we have to go out of our way to disturb them or
Yeah.
like, get rid of
Don't
them.
attack the hippos. Just leave them in peace.
Yeah, but
Far
stop
away.
hanging out by like the Zambezi River. Like don't get too close to the water. It's a public service announcement. I'm just trying to keep you guys safe.
Right? But I'm telling you, every once in a while, I'm like a dog with a bone with these things. I will figure out a way. We will get you in touch.
Oh my god. If you
Like,
do, that would be wild.
I had to tell you, like, my latest crazy adventure. I bought this book from like a thrift shop.
Oh,
Useless Pass is from 1952. I go to read it and I open it up and this card falls out.
what is that?
It is from the Book Find Club and it's like a receipt, has this guy's name and his address. He bought this book in 1952 and I am determined to find him.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so far I've tracked down his addresses through like 1965, where he went to school,
That's really
stages.
cool. I love old books or like old like library cards or like I don't know, I think it's really cool like to find like something that somebody like had with them. Like especially like I feel like books are so personal.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised that like when we see like haunted object shows, you don't see more like haunted books. Like you see
I'm gonna
like
haunt a
other
book.
what?
I'm gonna haunt a book. 100%. I'm haunting a book.
I love that. I will look for you in a book.
All right.
I would look, depending on which one of us enters the afterlife first. I haven't decided where I'm going to lurk yet, but when I do, I'll let you know so you can look for me there. But I'll look for you in a book.
All right. Just not about hippos.
No hippos.
Don't haunt a hippo
No.
book.
You will not find me haunting anything with hippos. No.
But yeah, this
Um,
is the kind of like weird random rabbit holes that I'm going down. Because I
I
think it
love
would
it
be
though.
super, super fun to either find him and give him this book back, or like find his grandkids and be like, hey, do you want this book that your grandfather had?
I feel like that
Like
would be
these
really
situations.
awesome. Like I feel like that would I
Yeah.
mean, granted like his grandkids are like, I guess close with their grandfather, but like to be
Yeah.
like, I feel like that would be really awesome to be like, hey, like here's a little piece of history, like something. So wait, what is the book? Is it just like,
The book is Uses of the Past. So it was just, I don't know why I picked it up. It was Profiles of Former Society. It was written in 1952, and it's a series of studies of former societies designed to give perspectives on the crisis of our own society. And this was from 1952.
that is for 1952? That's like Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's very not 1952.
That's like it could have been
Like,
written today. It
like
talks
is that going to
about
be a banned book? Is that like a 1952 banned book?
it could be. It talked about like adventures of civilization, legacy of Israel, rise of Christianity, Byzantine Empire, and like the downfall of these civilizations and societies and how it applies to modern day.
That's very interesting. That's a cool
Mhm.
find.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's really interesting to see what they thought was going to be the downfall of civilization in 52 versus what actually might be the downfall of civilization.
Which honestly, who knows at this
Yeah.
point?
Yeah. But they weren't thinking about like nuclear bombs and like all that.
No.
Well, at that, but
I was saying maybe nuclear bombs because didn't they
yeah.
had like fallout shelters?
Yeah. And
I don't know if
World
you
War
ever go
II.
down the fallout shelter wormhole or watch
Mhm.
people open fallout shelter food. Do you ever do that like on TikTok?
Yes. Yes.
I'm like that's a guilty. It's a vice. I love watching videos of them open like they're like this is a 50-year-old muffin and I'm like, "Oh, I wonder what it looks like." And they open it, you're like, "Oh god, like
Do you watch the ones where they actually try it?
no."
There are some of those, and I'm like, I'm surprised you're not dead, dude.
Hi, Rick.
Hi.
Um That's interesting. I even get weird when you see like the old like pinup makeup that they like will try on because I'm like some of the stuff they were using in their makeup, I'm like, hey, use this blush with a little bit of arsenic in it, and you're just
I,
like,
let me put this lead-based paint on my face.
yeah, like I'm like that even to me is ballsy. So like I don't know that I could I don't know. I do watch the guy that does the he makes like he uses like the 1950s recipe books and he cooks like the gelatin molds
Is it
and like
Max
almost
Miller?
I don't know what his name is.
Okay. There's the tasting history guy who like talks about history and then cooks the stuff from it.
I feel like I follow a couple of them. So I'm like, that sounds like one of them, but there's another guy. He's a little bit more like informal. Like he just is
Mm.
like, all right, you guys want me to make another 1950s like recipe out of this cookbook. And like he makes like it's like peas and salmon gelatin mold for like a dinner party. And then he's like making it and he cuts it and like tries it. And I'm like it
Mm.
just makes you want to throw up.
I'm gonna send you the link to an old cooking videos. It's her the character is Mrs. Crocombe, and throws so much shade and does like Victorian cooking. It's ridiculous, but it's
Oh,
like a
I
guilty
need
pleasure.
that.
Yeah.
I need that. That sounds amazing.
It's like ASMR, but with sarcasm.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I literally can't believe we just passed like a whole hour and I feel like we still have so much to talk about.
Well, that's because we're getting off topic with like hippos and cooking videos.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? It's good talk. It's good
Yeah.
talk. And I feel like our listeners will like listen to this and get a good laugh out of
Mhm.
the craziness. But so I feel like this is definitely I feel like every guest I've had on here, I'm like, all right, we gotta do a part two because there's still so much left to talk about. But getting back on track, give me like one really solid piece of advice for future or current investigators. What's like a piece of wisdom or just something that you want to see in future current investigators, just a little something to kind of pass down to them.
Have fun. Like go with
Okay.
people that you really enjoy being with and have fun with it. Because if you're a spirit, right? Do you want to talk to the person who's all serious, like, shh, don't talk, nobody moves? Or do you want to like talk to the people who are laughing and joking and having a good time? We've got spirits coming through like the spirit box, laughing at jokes and telling dad jokes and making all kinds of like comments. They're just getting in on the conversation when we're talking regularly, having fun, hanging out.
I love that. I love that. I think it's really important to especially in the paranormal climate that I think we're kind of in right now. There's a lot of hooting and hollering and this one and that one is doing this. And I feel like we need to bring joy and community and friendship and like just fellow camaraderie back to the paranormal and remember like why we started it. And it's not to get famous. It's not to make, and it's not to say that there's anything wrong with getting famous or making money, but still make sure that you find joy in the paranormal and finding joy with the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And I think another part that I just want to touch upon, because I thought it was really great that you do, is it's really important that we invest in, where I feel like people are so often caught up in investing in themselves and their equipment and their teams. And like that is really, really good. But don't forget that you need to also invest in your community and your locations, because without these things, we don't have places to investigate or stories to tell. So, if there's any foundations or there's any fundraisers or anything that you want to give a shout out to, feel free to, if you want to tell us now any that you think are, or locations that people that are taking donations or that they can donate to, feel free to give them a shout out. If you have any off the top of your head.
Yeah, I mean, one that we have coming up, we have an event coming up at the end of May at Fort Decker in Port Jervis, and that is purely a fundraiser. They don't have heat in the winter. It's this fort from 1700s. It's run by volunteers. They need money to keep it going, because if they don't get donations, if they don't get money, if they don't get publicity, it's not going to be there for the future generations. It's going to get knocked down. It's going to get turned into apartment buildings or something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so things like that we do for the Edmondson House, the Jacob T. Walden Stone House in Walden, Mizzier Homestead. We do these things as fundraisers to help keep them open so we can keep going there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for all of our listeners, whether you're an investigator, if you want to investigate, but even if you don't investigate at all and you just like to watch spooky stuff, just remember that a lot of these places that people are going to are run, solely off of donations and fundraisers and, whatever the community can kind of give back to it. And we can't get upset when locations are torn down or they're not advocated for or they're not donated to, when we're not doing anything to kind of give back to the community. So, just remembering that keeping these things standing and, giving them life and being able to investigate there is an honor, a privilege, and it's something that we have to contribute to if we want to continue to do it. So just making sure that you're doing your part, and also doing your part by, when you go to these places, treating them with respect. So don't take things from locations. Don't, leave your garbage, and don't, just do your part. If you can't physically donate or you don't have the funds to do it, then just do your part, and at least just making sure that you're taking care of the places that you're visiting. So as always, Nicole, thank you so, 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 so much for joining us tonight. We definitely have so much more to talk about. We'll have to kind of look into maybe doing, are you on TikTok? Do I have you on TikTok?
I don't know. If you don't, I'll send you a link.
Okay, maybe we could do a TikTok live together. We can do like just like a live, like fun little talk. So I feel like that could be really fun.
Yeah.
So let's definitely find a way to get some kind of part 2, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, here again, you name it. Because we got lots more to talk about, and I feel like we still have to touch on all the good cryptid stuff.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
So
100%. And we'll have
it'll
to get an investigation going soon too.
Oh my God, that
I
would
don't
be
think
so
they're
much
that
fun.
far from me.
No. And I'm always traveling, so that's never really an issue. Unless you're like 15 hours away, then I got to plan a little bit, but we'll make it happen.
We will.
But thank you so, so much. It has been such a pleasure talking to you. This is so much fun. And we'll definitely, we'll have to connect about, I want to hear what you thought about the Paul Templar story.
All right.
We're
going to hear it from Paul Templar, because I'm going to get him.
I love it. But as always, our spooky friends, stay weird and come join us for our next episode, which will be next Thursday. And those details will be on our socials. But thank our lovely guest for sharing all of her wisdom, her knowledge, and great thoughts with us. Go check out her pages if you want to drop your names, your usernames, your ats, whatever. Let them know where they can find you. And then we'll also tag your stuff in this episode.
Cool.
right.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me on. This was so much
Mm.
fun. I'm glad we finally got to like connect.
Yes, this was great. So we're definitely going to do it again. Like I said,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to reconnect. So thank you everybody. And we will, Sabrina said, great show, ladies. Thanks, Sabrina. We will definitely reconnect with everybody soon. But thanks for tuning in and we'll see you. Bye.
Bye.